What is going on YouTube? Morning, everybody. For those watching on demand, this is the weekly little what's been going on in the wonderful world of sports cards recap, shenanigans, questions, just our little weekly chat, little chitty chat. So I have some stuff I want to go over this morning, just some general finds for market movers, some nonsense, and then we'll see what chat's up to and see how long we go for. These usually go for about an hour, so anyone on the old YouTube replay that wasn't able to catch this live, we'll see what happens. So people are hopping into chat, so we will go ahead and get started here for those watching at home and those watching live. So first thing, I just kind of wanted to touch on the individual markets really quick of the three various sports. And I like doing this through the market movers price movement by card chart. And what you're able to do is select the sport that you want, and then it pulls all the cards for that individual sport. And you could sort it, you could filter it, all kind of stuff. So I like doing it by baseball, football, and basketball, and sorted by number of sales, just to kind of see what's popular, what's selling. Is it going up, going down? So you can see here, we're going to start off with baseball really quick. I don't have a lot of baseball stuff today. But so in this price movement by card charts for baseball, and this is only the cards loaded in market mover, so it's not 100% perfect. It's not like this is every single card in the world. But most of the popular stuff's in there. For example, and the other thing I like noticing about this is the number of sales and compare it to the other sports just to kind of see what's going on in what markets. So baseball, all about that Lou Bob. His Topps Chrome, 501 sales in the last 7 days. And his Topps Paper, 482 sales in the last 7 days. So there are 1,000 Lou Bobs moved in the last 7 days. And you can see his prices are ticking up. He had a pretty good week this week. He's getting a lot of buzz. He's up about 10 or 15% on each of his cards. And then as we scroll down, Mr. Fernando Tatis, his Topps Chrome Raw, basically staying flat. We're not going to go through every card here. Once again, Lou Bob again with his refractor, 122 of those went. And then we'll kind of just scroll through the list here. Now, there's not baseball, and the season is, as crazy as it sounds, is on the downhill slide already. The trade deadline was earlier this week. They're in the back half of the season already. And the baseball market has a lot of red in it. A lot of the stuff towards the top of the number of transactions is going down. Tatis is slowly sliding back down again. Juan Soto's sliding down again. Pete Alonso's been terrible all season. Acuna has stayed flat. I have a feeling over the next couple of days he's going to spike. He's gone nuclear the last 2 days. How often? These price changes every morning. And this is market movers from Sports Card Investor. Tatis is going up a little bit here, but in general, you can see the baseball market. Lou Bob is the champ for the week. Let's hop over and look at basketball. The basketball market, really all three sports in general, not as much football, but all three sports are kind of cooling. They all peaked in early August, about the second week of August, first week of August, and then everything's been slightly pulling back to a degree. Basketball's been hit the hardest, partially because, and I did a video about this a few days ago, partially because the market was so inflated. Also, the playoffs are winding down, so teams are getting eliminated, so guys' prices are falling as they are no longer in the playoffs. The whole Zion debacle, all that shenanigans. So you can see at the basketball market, top of the charts is this Ja Luminance. Not surprising, as Chronicles is still getting ripped a ton right now. So there's just a lot of those hitting the market, and that's a very popular card. That's the one with him dunking. I'm sorry, missing a dunk over Kevin Love. And we see Luka way towards the top, Tyler Hero, Jamal Murray way up there, obviously, because he's just been playing out of his mind. Um, more Ja, more Luka, more Kobe. But as we scroll down here, you can see the top of the market in terms of number of sales. Some green, some red. Not huge changes, though. 9% up, 9% down. Tyler Hero's been spiking a little bit because of the Heat making a really nice run against the Bucks, and I expect that to continue. They'll probably end up getting swept today. But as we scroll lower, we see more and more red. Porter Jr. down, LeBron 2019 Prism down, more red, Luka, Zion, red, 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 a little bit of green there. But a lot of basketballs pulling back, which makes sense just because their playoffs are winding down and we are creeping towards the off season. And like I said, I think this is twofold. One, the market was overinflated, and two, as these guys get eliminated from the playoffs, their prices take a beating. Let's hop over and look at football before we get into some individual cards and then see what chat's up to. We're going to talk about Luka in a minute, Goran, so just hold on. I have some individual charts for him pulled up. What's up, Nats, man? So football, one, the number of sales is still pretty low considering the peak, or considering football starts next week. I think we're kind of in the calm before the storm. Everyone's bought what they've wanted to buy and is prepping for games to actually start. But we could see the number one is this Mahomes Prestige. This is a brand new card. These are really nice looking, by the way. I think these are going to be pretty popular. People are looking at these like the net marvels from basketball, these Prestige heroes. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Don Russ does have the Marvel Heroes cards in their new release that just came out, but the set's weird. There's no rookies in it. They're not market movers yet because that product just came out this week. But people are speculating that these are going to be very popular, like the Marvel cards from Don Russ for basketball. So that's the number one on the chart. But it's not bad. $25 for a flyer seems reasonable enough if you're willing to take a little gamble there. Net Marvels are really beautiful cards, and the football ones seem nice, but the player set's just a little weird on it. But we can see football is more green. Kyler Murray going up. In general, football is trending up for the most part. Leonard Fournette, we could see here, had a huge spike. He had a topsy-turvy week as he got cut. His prices went down. Then he got picked up by the Bucks with Tom Brady, and his prices went way up. And now they're trending back down again. If you look at this chart, this is a silver prism. This is kind of funny. As you can see here, it was pretty flat. He gets released, gets picked up by the Buccaneers, and went way up. And then my joke here is that people realized he's Leonard Fournette, and then it immediately started going back down again. So hopefully you sold over these 2 days and didn't wait, because he's already tailing way back off again. Leonard Fournette's not someone I want to be investing in. I don't believe he's very good. It was basically about just strictly selling that little spike. Then down here, we kind of get into the, Saquon's, Josh Allen's, Sam Darnold's, a little bit into the red, but nothing too crazy. So I just wanted to kind of talk about the three individual markets as a whole before we hop into some individual cards here. Just taking a look at chat really quick. Jump back over. So let's start off with football first. This one looks a little, I'm going to say this looks fishy to me. This is the Jerry Rice rookie card. His 86 tops, specifically in PSA 9. PSA 10 pop counts are really low on this card. But the 9 is decent enough. There's a little over 1,000 of them. So this card was kind of just ticking along. It was 1,800, then 2,000, then 2,300, then 2,400. And then all of a sudden, from the 29th to the 31st, it goes to $5,000. Just because I assume, and I'm not in every single group in the world, I'm guessing either one of two things happened here. This either got pumped hardcore by somebody or someone's trying to manipulate the market. It's a lower pop count card. There's not a ton of them for sale at any given time. So it makes it a little bit easier to swing the market on stuff like this. I'm guessing it's one of those two things because other than that, there's really no reason for Jerry Rice stuff to more than double in the course of 2 days. Nothing's happened with him that I'm aware of. So this reeks of a pump or market manipulation. One of the two, because you can see it spikes way up. It comes back down to earth here to about 3,700. And now it looks like it's kind of flattening out at around this 4K range. But 3 days earlier than that, it was still almost $2,000 less than its new market price. So this just seems a little strange. Now, the interesting thing here is now PSA 8s aren't exactly the most popular cards in the world, but on this older stuff, they're a lot more common. If we come down here, and this, I made this chart 14 days just to kind of capture this trend. We could see here the PSA 9, only 16 have sold. So once again, there's not a lot of these for sale. So it makes it easier to manipulate this market. The PSA 9 is up 133%, but the PSA 8 is only up 20%. So if you believe this new price level for Jerry Rice rookies, and I don't really dabble in vintage very much, not that this is like true vintage, but the PSA 8 has not caught up to the PSA 9 price spike yet. And I doubt Raw has either. Raw is not in market movers because I think the conditions vary very wildly on these. In fact, I saw one of these. I was watching one end at auction yesterday, and it actually ended a lot lower than this ending average. It's probably just not factored in yet because it was late in the day yesterday. So there could be, if you believe in this price spike, this PSA 8 might not be bad to try to track some down. There was not a lot for sale on eBay yesterday when I looked, but it doesn't look like it's got the price bump of the PSA 9. But this doesn't look right. That just reeks of something. Sorry, just grabbing a drink there, guys. All right, let's hop over to some basketball, and then we will circle. I got a couple basketball things I want to talk about, and then we will circle over to chat. Let's see what chat's up to real fast. Boston, that could be that Gary V gave it a little pump, and it's just kind of blatantly gone out. And a lot of older football stuff has been rising. But that one just seemed a little strange. I noticed that popped way up. Bob Marley, I've been going after, I just made the last video that I made was football specific. So you might want to check that out. I've been really looking at undervalued wide receivers like AJ Brown, Michael Gallup, guys like that. Calvin Ridley, those types of guys. To me, quarterbacks are way overvalued, and I don't want to touch a running back because there's just way too many injury concerns. So, yeah, Card, you're probably not wrong. Basketball money is definitely moving to football, but in some cases, like some of the high-end football modern is going down. Like, I don't think I have the chart of it here. Like Lamar Jackson stuff is creeping down, which is weird a week before the football season. So, but all right, let's get into some basketball stuff. So Booker and Lillard, I've been using these two guys as a gauge for, we've talked about this plenty on previous videos and shows, a gauge for how hard of a price hit these guys take once they get bounced. Because they were two, Booker specifically, it was one of the earliest to get bounced out, and Lillard was following suit, and they had huge price hikes. So I've been using them as the model for how hard these prices are going to go down. once guys get bounced from the playoffs. And over the last 7 days, you can see these two are down another 20%. And this trend seems to be keep continuing. I do not know where these two are going to bottom out at. If we look, so this is over the last 7 days, you can see both downward trends, and then the specific numbers here where there are changes for the last 7. I'm going to pull this chart out. We're going to go back 90 days just so you can see the graphs a little bit better. So the dark blue line is Booker, the pink line is Lillard, and you could see they've gone all the way back down to, so let's see, Booker's at 800. That's what he was at basically pre-playoffs, or right as the playoffs were starting. So he's taking a beating, and Lillard's in the same boat. He's down to 1,000. And that's what he was basically way back on August 4th. So basically the whole month of August is gone. Like, look at this. Went way up to almost 3K and is all the way back down to 1,000 again. But it does look like, I know that they've been down 20% the last 7 days, but it does appear that they are at least semi-leveling off. You can see this big downward slope on Lillard, and then it spiked back up again, and now it's just slowly creeping down versus this cliff face. And Booker was kind of the same. Now, Booker left a little bit earlier, so his cliff was here back in mid-August, and then he kind of leveled out, spiked around a little bit, and it is now going back down again. So essentially, my general theory has been that the August inflation, when these guys leave, is going to essentially get wiped out once these guys get eliminated from the playoffs. It's not a perfect trend, but I think it's a decent judge for, we could spin it forward and apply it to other players as they get bounced out of the bubble or the NBA playoffs. But these two are still trending down over 2-3 weeks later. These guys are both still trending down. When you pull the charts out like this, you can kind of see where it's reverting back to. And it seems to be pulling back to that late July price, give or take a little bit. Let's look at same principle here. Now, this one's interesting because he is not taken as far of a fall. This is, let me pull back 90 days on this. This is Donovan Mitchell. Now, he has just recently gotten bounced, but we could see here his 90-day, he has not dropped all the way back down to that pre-playoff bump spike. Right now, he's sitting at 425, and his pre-spike was 375, so he's getting close. And if we look at the last 7 on him, we can see he's only down about 13%. So for whatever reason, Mitchell doesn't seem to be falling quite as hard as Lillard and Booker did. It looks like he's eventually going to get to that price, but it's going a little bit slower. So I just found that one interesting because he got bounced just like the other guys did, but his prices are not falling quite as hard. And this is just his base PSA 10 Prism. I try to use base Prism PSA 10s for just about all these charts because it's kind of like the gold standard in the hobby, especially for football and basketball. A couple more basketball things we want to talk about, and then I'll pull up that Lamar Jackson chart that you guys are talking about in chat. Give me just a minute. Let's look at Zion and Ja. I feel like we talk about these guys every week because I think they're just kind of like a good temperature gauge for the general health of the NBA market. So this is the last, I went 14 days on this one. We can see over the last 14, for the first time in a while, Zion and Ja are actually green. They had been trending down since they both got bounced, but they seem to have officially leveled off now. And over the last 14 days, they are basically I mean, they're technically up, they're in the green, but they are essentially now evened. They have essentially flattened out with little mini price spikes here and there. It seems to me that on Zion, uh, the market is essentially not letting him go. And this is once again, this is base PSA 10 Prism, is not letting him get much below 600. You could see here at the start of the 14 days, it was right below 600, and it immediately spiked up to low sixes, started going down again, spiked back up again, started trending down again, dipped very briefly down to 585, and then you could see it immediately shot right back up to 6. So it appears, at least for the time being, that 600 is Zion's floor for a PSA 10. Whether that holds, I don't know. Is this officially the bottom and now it slowly starts to creep back up for here? My guess is that this stays flat and sticks around 600 over the next probably month or two at best, or at least until we get a firm day on when the NBA season comes back. We don't know when that's going to be yet. That's still up in the air, but I think most of the NBA prices, once they flatten out, are going to stay flat and still until we have that target date of when the season's going to come back. And you can see Ja is basically the same thing, except his floor seems to be about 450. The market doesn't want to seem to let him get below 450. Excuse me. You can see here he got down to almost 450, spiked back up. Once again, went down, got almost to 450, spiked back up, went down just a little bit below 450, spiked back up, and then went up to 500 and then went back down again to 450. Now, I am, for Ja specifically, I personally thought the Rookie of the Year thing was the most overrated thing ever with him regarding price spikes and whatnot. And that seems to be the case. I felt that it was been baked in for months, and he wasn't going to, people were talking about how buy Ja now to get this huge bump when he gets the Rookie of the Year trophy. Cool. Here's your huge bump. He went from 470 to 496 and then immediately went right back down to 470 again. Congratulations on your $20 if you sold specifically on the 5th. And depending on what you bought at, you actually probably didn't make any money because of eBay fees. So congratulations to you. You have proven that the Rookie of the Year bump is real, and enjoy your, oh wait, you don't get to enjoy a couple Starbucks because your eBay didn't, your price bump didn't even cover your eBay fees if you bought in anywhere leading up to this since he exited the playoffs. So, you know, it is what it is. I just specifically thought that his Rookie of the Year bump was the most overrated thing ever because everyone knows he's been getting the award for the last 6 months since the pandemic hit in March, and Zion's rest of his regular season games were wiped out and he only played 20 games or whatever. Once again, congrats. You made $20. So maybe I doubt that. I mean, I think that's pretty much the spike. Like, that's it. Even if you bought here at 437 and sold here at 500, by the time you take 10% from eBay, you made $10, basically. $13 if you charged for shipping. Cool. Enjoy your 2 Frappa Rappa Mappas from Starbucks Ventes. You really killed it on that one. So that's my rant on Rookie of the Year price bump for Ja Morant that everyone's been talking about for months on end. So I do believe at some point in time, and I don't think it'll be until play starts again. They got very close together on pricing, the two of these guys. Let me pull back a 90-day chart. Give me 1 second. Right here, early August, they got within $80 of each other And that was about the closest they have ever been. And then it separated. I truly believe if the Grizzlies would have made the playoffs, Ja would have eclipsed Zion, but they didn't. So it is what it is. This right here is basically where they got eliminated from the playoffs. And I think he would have blown through that line if they would have made it in. But yeah, you can see here the peak for Zion on 731, and then his steady decline. And once again, he has seemed to have leveled off for the most part. Maybe we see another dip, but I feel like he's at about his floor right now, at least for a while. Last two I want to talk about is Giannis and Luka. Robert, Shaq stuff has been going crazy for a while. I believe that is some Gary Vee influence. As someone mentioned earlier, he's been pumping vintage everything, specifically basketball, and now he's pimping vintage football. And one of his Instagram messages from a few weeks ago was, and he blurred the image, but people figured out that it was Shaq cards. And then his stuff went, specifically the Shaq Beam team, I think was one of them. And then his prices went way up on that stuff, and it's kind of trickled down. I don't think Step Back Sports is in here, but he's been selling a ton of Shaq stuff recently. He's been talking about it on his podcast. But yeah, Shaq stuff's been going crazy lately. So yeah, so let's talk about Giannis really quick. So the Bucks, yikes. They are down 0-3 to the Heat. For those not watching live, they are probably going to get swept later today. But yeah, they just do not look very good at all right now. And his prices have tanked. Basically, people are baking in that they're eliminated. This is over the last 14 days. He is down 30%, which 30% off a Giannis PSA 10 Prism is a good chunk of change. That is almost $2,000 off. And I watched the prices on this pretty closely because I have a BGS 9.5 that I picked up last year. Luckily, I bought this last year, so I got it for a steal. But yeah, his prices are taking just a straight getting destroyed right now. He at some point in time he's going to bottom out. People are going to start buying him up. He's about to get an MVP. I don't think he's going to get a price bump for the MVP. What it might do is just pause the free fall. I'll be curious to see how much he falls between this Sunday and when I do this show next Sunday. Because I feel like a lot of this is people just pricing in that they are eliminated, which is fine. People have seen what happened to Lillard's prices, Booker's prices, etc., and they're trying to get ahead of the sell-off. So the sell-off is starting earlier than it did for the guys during the early part of the playoffs. People have seen what happened to the market when these guys get bounced. The second something goes wrong, they immediately start selling. So where the bottom is for Giannis, I do not know. If I had Giannis, well, I do have Giannis. I personally, the BGS 9.5 that I have, I did not really. I briefly considered selling. My BGS 9.5 got over 4K at one point in time, and I briefly pondered selling it. There was nothing that I needed the money for. Like there wasn't another purchase that I was looking to make for something high end. So I didn't think that at the time it was worth selling it because I view Giannis as one of the best long-term holds. We are going to within a few months, we're going to find out Giannis's intentions very quickly. This is the offseason that the Bucks can offer him a max extension. And if he accepts that extension, then we know he is staying in Milwaukee long term. If he turns that extension down and enters next year as his free agent year, whoo boy, I wouldn't want to be in the Bucks front office, because that probably means he's leaving. And then you have to decide if you want to ride that out for one last shot, or if you try to trade him, a la Anthony Davis. Not a great position to be in. I think he is gone. One, they extremely disappointed this year. I don't think Coach Bud is very good in the playoffs. I think the front office probably didn't make him very happy when they decided to let Malcolm Brogdon walk. And they could have really used him this series. Those aren't the type of players that you let go for money reasons when you're trying to win an NBA Finals and you have one of the next superstars in the league. He has some holes in his game. They're fixable. But I still view Giannis as one of the best long-term holds. And if I had a decent chunk of change laying around and I was willing to tie it up for a while, I would be buying when he hits his floor, with whatever his floor is. There's been speculation on where it's going to drop to. But I think he pieces out after next year, whether it's trade or free agency. And where he goes, God only knows, but it'll be to form some sort of super team, most likely. Either join an existing franchise or team up with a couple guys. I don't know what the rest of that free agent class looks like. The speculation is a miles long on where he may go to. Heat, Mavs, Golden State, whatever. Any of the popular teams basically pick him. They've been linked. But we're going to have a good idea as soon as he either accepts or declines the max extension, whenever that is. The offseason stuff's loosey-goosey still on when that's going to kick in. But at some point in time, if you have the capital, because I know it's a very expensive card, a lot of people don't, there's going to be a very good buying opportunity on Giannis. And it may be a long-term hold. It could be something that you have to hold for a couple years or a year. But if he gets dealt next offseason and goes to one of the premier franchises, his prices are going to skyrocket like AD did when he went to the Lakers. And then if he just gets on a better team, he is much more likely to win a title. The dude's going to be a 2-time MVP and is still extremely young. He's just one of the best long-term holds, along with the next guy that we're going to talk about, which is Luka. Good old Luka. So this is his PSA 10 Prism and his BGS 9.5. I threw both in here. This is the last 14 days. I went 14 days on this chart as well, just to kind of show the general trends. And they're both down 20 to 35% over the last 14. He has not hit the bottom yet, but I noticed, and the reason I went back 14 on this chart, you could see here, it looks like he is leveled out. We'll see if this sticks when we look at this chart next week, but we could see he was trending down, and the pink line's his PSA 10 Prism. It got down to about 1,400, just under 1,400. And we can see it immediately shot back up to 1,400 and has basically stayed at 1,400 the last 4 or 5 days. If I do like a custom query on this chart, let's go back to the seconds. Oops. Second to the 6th. So if we just look at the last couple days on this, we could see his PSA 10 Prism has essentially flattened. Now, if you believe that this is the bottom, it looks like his BGS 9.5 has not caught up to that yet. It looks like it's still lagging down, whereas the PSA 10 Prism may have leveled off. So if you truly believe Luka's reached the bottom, then this BGS 9.5 wouldn't be a bad time to jump in. And I view Luka the same as Giannis. Once he reaches his floor, if you've got money laying around that you want to tie up for a little bit, Luka is a pretty safe bet to throw it into. Here's what's going to happen. Luka's going to level off. Luka's prices are going to stay relatively flat. The lead up to next season's going to come. He's going to be the cover boy of every preview thing in the world after the way that he played in the playoffs. Is Luka going to be the MVP? Question mark. Who do they pick up in the offseason? Yada, yada, yada. Are the Mavericks a top 4 team for the Western Conference? And his prices are going to shoot right back up again in the lead up to next season for sure. I don't think it does reach the all-time highs that it did, during the beginning of the playoff run. Probably not, but it's going to go way up again. And then assuming that he plays well throughout next season, et cetera, you can extrapolate out. But it appears Luka may have hit the floor. We shall see. Let's go back and look at his 90-day chart really quick. So once again, and this has been my general theory for a while, his pre-playoff price was 1,400, and we could see here on his chart he's leveling off right around 1,400, which is his price right before the big inflation, where he really spiked way up. So once again, my theory is that most of these guys, this bubble period in August is going to get wiped out, and the new baseline is going to be right around here, which was this was between 13 and 1,400, and right now he's hovering at 1,400, dips down to 1,375, etc. We'll see if that stays the case, and you can see the BGS 9.5 basically follows suit, a little more spiky. But here you can see the BGS 9.5 is trending down where the PSA 10 is flat. I really think this BGS 9.5, if you could get him sub 800, is going to be a pretty good price for that card. Looks like this has kept going down and the PSA 10 has stayed flat. So I would definitely be a buyer on Luka wherever you think he's hits his bottom. And I think he's close. He could still creep down. Maybe he gets down to 1,300, but I don't think he's going to go much lower. People love Luka, myself included. I have tons of Luka, and I did not even think about selling any of it, really. It didn't even cross my mind. I have a couple PSA 10 optics, SGC optic, BGS 9.5 Prism, and some other stuff. But I didn't even consider moving during that because I view Luka as one of the best, if not the best, long-term hold. So I would not be looking to move Luka anytime soon. That's the main stuff that I wanted to talk about for the last week or so in the Wonderful World of Sports cards. I'm just gonna give me 1 second, guys. Let me scroll through chat here and see what you guys are up to, and if you guys have any questions on anything. My best Luka is this, just a BGS 9.5. I don't have anything super high end on Luka. This is just BGS 9.5 Prism. And then I have two. I really like the optic. I have two optic PSA 10s and an SGC 10 optic. Let's hear more about football. We could talk some more about football. I mentioned it earlier. I'm looking at cheaper wide receivers. Trying to see where the stuff went that I had laying around. This is my favorite card right now when it comes to football, and I mentioned this in the football video that I did. I just did a football video 3 days ago. I love the select field level silvers. This is an AJ Brown one that I got. I got a couple of these. I'm going to send this one off to PSA. This is one of my favorite cards, regardless of year or set. This goes for basketball and football. The field level stuff are just great looking cards. I absolutely love them. So I have not bought a ton of football other than some AJ Brown stuff. He's been my big one. I have more, but where did it go? Sorry, I got stuff everywhere. I've also been buying which I did talk about this on a pickup thing. Odell Beckham Jr. So I picked this up recently. This is his Topps Chrome. Um, this was on a recent video not that long ago. I got this for like $80. It's already up to 125. The pop counts on these are pretty low. And then I also picked up a bunch of Beckham base prisms. I was hoping some of these would be gradable, but the surfaces on some of them, they're not bad. They're probably PSA 9s. So I don't think I'm going to send any of them. Just with this all silver, even on the bases, they just nick and scratch up very easily, and they're older cards. They're from 2014. So, but mostly wide receivers. I've been buying a lot of wide receivers. Not a lot, but then AJ Brown, who I mentioned earlier. This is just another prism, or field level rather. The video I just did the other day, I talked about optic stuff being extremely undervalued. And this is one that I've had for a while, but this is his teal. This is numbered to 299. I got this really cheap. But I just really like AJ Brown. I picked up a gold laser prism and a base prism. This was all within the last 2 weeks, probably. I got a really good deal on this. I got this for about $20, and they already go for about 40 now. Another Beckham X-Fractor. I just think Beckham stuff was really undervalued. I think the prices start to caught up. You could still get his stuff pretty cheap, but Beckham has a huge fan base. And I could just see him, if the Browns bounce back, he makes a couple ridiculous catches on a day, and I just see his prices going crazy because he just has such a huge following. Just a massive following. The other thing I've been buying up, this is more of a, I'm going to call this PC than investing, is, and I got these a while back when they were pretty cheap. I think you could still get them pretty cheap, is second year Baker stuff. And I think Baker's going to start a little slow with the Browns installing a new system. And them having limited practice time. I worry the offense is going to start a little slow, but I picked up this field level. This is numbered to 49. I got this for dirt cheap, but this was like a month or two ago. And then I got, these are numbered prisms. I really like this orange to 249. I'm a sucker for when the color matches the team color. So this is more PC than cards. I had a good sale this week. I had picked up this lot. I got to ship this out, just package it up. This is a lot of 10 OG Anunoby optic shocks. He was one of the guys that I bought really cheap back in June in prep for the NBA playoffs because I thought the Raptors could make a deep run. I actually almost forgot that I had these. I got all 10 of these for $30 back, I don't know, like I said, June, July-ish, once we knew when the playoffs were starting back up again. So I threw this up after he hit the game-winning shot the other day. I put it up for like 120 or best offer. Someone offered me 90 last night, and I accepted it just outright. So even after the 10% eBay fees, I probably made $50 on this. Pretty easy. And this was a pretty low dollar investment to begin with. Like I said, I got this for 30 and flipped it back around for about a $50 profit. And this low end stuff like this is a good bankroll building thing if you're just starting out. Look for guys like this going in the next season. So that's got to get packaged up to get shipped out pretty soon. Let's see what is going on in chats. Can you reduce your... Yes, I can. Sorry, Nats, man. I should have did that. Sorry, I get talking and I forget about chat. We'll just make this basically full screen. There we go. That should be better for you guys. We can bounce back and forth. I would not use InvestiCard. Just grade them yourself and sell them yourself. Why? I don't understand the full Investacard thing, but what, to me that just seems like you're leaving money on the table, sending stuff into Investacard. I would just do it yourself. Just do it yourself. What else is chat talking about? Let's see. Myself personally for PSA, I send in myself. I try to stagger my submissions. I send about 10 or 15 cards at a time in, and I try to do a submission like once a month, essentially. I have 10 cards that have moved, or a 15 card order that moved into that's grading right now with PSA, and I have another one that just got checked in, and I'm getting ready to send off another one. So all quarterbacks are not going up. Lamar Jackson has been going down a little bit recently. But in general, yeah, a lot of quarterbacks are going up. So I think we're going to wrap up, guys. I pretty much got through everything that I went through, unless chat has any other crazy questions for me here at the last minute. I got notification that my SGC order has popped. It is on its way. I don't know yet, Vicious Dad, because I haven't gotten my first order back yet. I've sent 3 things on an express order, and 2 out of 3 came back PSA 10s. Those were mosaics. And then everything else I've self-submitted. I have not gotten back yet, so I don't know. But I did get notification that my last SGC order is on its way back to me. It was a 15-day for May 26th. Oh, SGC, you little... I ranted about them in my last SGC premiere or reveal. So I will have an SGC reveal video later this week. Probably Wednesday or Thursday. It is a 10 card order. It is 9 LeBrons and a Tatum, all from Mosaic. So I got the seller ready images and everything. I've looked at the grades, but I'll wait and do the reveal with the physical cards, assuming USPS doesn't delay the shipment coming in. So I'll probably do a premiere for the SGC reveal. I'll pre-record it and then do a premiere and then hang out and chat with you guys. I like doing premieres for that sort of stuff. I try to limit the live shows to about once a week. And I think I'm going to keep this time slot going forward, this 10 a.m. start time. I'm going to try to do this every Sunday morning, so it seems like a good time, so I could get out of the way of football, finish up by about 11 a.m., and then get to setting fantasy football lineups and DFS lineups and all that stuff. And I think one of the interesting things for football this year, excuse me, is I assume football is going to follow the NBA market, where if a guy goes crazy, his prices are going to go nuts. So I think it's going to be interesting to try to figure out on a given day, like who's the guy to go buy that morning before things go crazy. And I think I'm going to focus a lot of the time on Star Stock for that kind of stuff. I've run my Star Stock account up to a low 125, 130 bucks. I started with $20 on there. I've got it up about $100, and I've been slowly picking up some football stuff. So maybe part of the Sunday morning stuff, once the NFL kicks up, we'll do a little poke around Star Stock and see what we could find to buy. type thing before the games kick off that day or something like that. I don't know yet. So yeah, Nats, man, SGC police are going to be coming for us. We both submitted cards to PSA, and I'm probably going to rant again when I get this other SGC order back. I thought I was over ranting about PSA or about SGC, and then I'm not going to play it here. Maybe I will show it on the SGC reveal. They came out with an ad this week for that Jordan Gold label, or last week, the Jordan Gold label that they sold, and it really pissed me off. The ad did. So I might rant about that probably on the SGC reveal this week. Their Gold label ad was a crock. So I saw that, Nats, man. The 502 Frank got hammered on that. Let me pull this back really quick. I heard him talk about that on his last video. I'm just gonna rearrange this real quick. I should have did this a while ago and slide chat over to here so the people watching on demand know what the hell we're talking about when I'm referencing chat. Did you see their ad, Nats, man, for the Gold label that they put on IG? Did you catch that one? Robert, Star Stock works really easy. I did a video preview. If you look back through my previous videos, I did a Star Stock video, like just a real quick run through of it. I've been using it on and off for about a month now, and I like it a lot. Star Stock's amazing. The pricing's a little weird on Star Stock. Some stuff's drastically more expensive. Some stuff's way cheaper. It's like its weird little own ecosystem, but maybe we'll do another deep dive in the Star Stock next Sunday. We'll go hunting for some Star Stock, see if we can mine some gold on Star Stock next Sunday morning for football, and see what we could track down on that. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and you guys have a good holiday weekend. Enjoy the day off tomorrow if you have a day off tomorrow. I took a couple extra days off. Whoops, I did not mean to hide chat. And then it's football season. I have a fantasy football draft later today. I have another fantasy football draft on Tuesday. And then we're full go for football. And it's going to be wild. I think the prices are going to spike. You got a week between games for pricing to go nuts. I really think these backup quarterbacks are going to get in on some of these games. These random wide receivers are going to go off for 150 yards and a couple touchdowns. And I think the potential for their prices to go absolutely crazy are in the cards if the NBA market has taught us anything. I don't see why the football market wouldn't follow it. So, but all right, you guys have yourself a good weekend, and we will catch you guys on the next video. Probably be early this week. Not sure what the topic's going to be. And then we will also have an SGC reveal this week for sure. So we will catch you guys on the next one, and peace.